Hey there, drone fans. Rick here again from Drone Valley. Well, today is another incredibly exciting day here at the shop because about 2 weeks ago, I got one of those mysterious emails from DJI that said, Rick, we got something cooking. Would you like to be involved in an NDA project? Of course I answered, yes, please send me the NDA. Let me sign it and get it back to you. So I got the NDA, I signed it, I sent it off, and things got quiet. And I thought to myself, boy, I sure hope that product is coming. I really want to know what it is. So a couple of days after that, they sent me an email with all the specifications, and it's really hard to get a feel for what a product looks like when you're reading through the specifications. But I studied those like I was back in college. How far is it going to fly? How fast is it going to fly? What kind of batteries it got in it? What kind of cameras in there? And you don't have any pictures or anything, so you're kind of trying to figure it out. And in my head, I had a picture of what it looked like. And I know there's been a lot of leaks and rumors and sort of people have snuck out pictures of it and such. But until you have it in your hands, you can't really appreciate what the thing looks like. So I'm waiting. I'm patiently waiting, and I'm waiting. And then this morning, the doorbell rang. I ran out in the front porch, and there was a beautiful, mysterious box. And inside that box was the brand new, can you guess? That's right, the brand new Avata drone. So I've got it right here. It's the Avata FPV. It's the latest generation FPV drone from DJI. Now, I did take the cellophane off the box, but I haven't gotten inside. I stopped myself because I really wanted to get in there and start playing around with it. But I thought, let me unbox it in front of you like I do with a lot of the drones, because I know a lot of folks really like to see the box being opened and what's inside and what's it look like. Plus, I really have a lot of fun opening a box up and looking at technology, and nothing gets me more excited than opening up a brand new drone, because of all the technology I test, most of it is pretty cool. But a drone to me is a miracle. It's something that shouldn't exist in my lifetime. It's a smart robot that flies around and takes pictures. And in the case of an FPV drone, it's even cooler because it goes really fast and it can do all kinds of aerobatics in the air. And I love flying FPV. So here's the box. I'm going to open it in a second. Now, before I get too deep into the unboxing, I'm going to break this into a series of clips, because normally I would do a nice long 30-minute clip and then people complain. They're like, Rick, the clip is too long. We're not going to watch the whole thing. So I'm going to break this into sections. So today, all I'm going to do is the unboxing, and I'll give you the specifications of the components that make up this Avata package. And then I'm going to do a closer look at the drone, the different controllers. I'll talk a little bit about the technology. There's a Fly More kit that's out. I'll do an unboxing and a closer look on that. And then I've been out flying this. Now remember, NDA means I've had it for a couple of weeks by the time you're watching this video. And I know DJI just announced it today, but I'm telling you, I've had this thing out in the field, flying it like crazy all over New Jersey, testing it out to make sure I can really talk about it with some understanding of the drone. And I'll be releasing a series of clips over the next 2 weeks that cover every aspect of this drone and what it provides for the market. So when you watch this, if there are questions you want to have answered, drop those in the comments below. I read through all of those. I respond to as many as I can. But if there's something in there you want me to test, let me know and I'll do a test against it. And I'll also put together 1, maybe 2 top 10 questions we've gotten from viewers, and I'll do a clip on that as well. All right, enough about that. So what I've got here in front of me is one of the ways this product is going to be sold. It's called the ProView Combo. And it includes the Avata drone, well, you can see it better here. The Avata drone, the goggles, and the motion controller. Now, the motion controller is a very unique product from DJI. And if you flew the original FPV, you know that it's a gyroscopically controlled joystick, basically, that when you've got the goggles on, you're moving your hand in certain directions, and the drone's going to respond to those motion movements. So it's a pretty cool way to fly. It's a really easy way to fly, too. So if you've never flown FPV, or maybe you're a camera drone person, you're flying your Mavic 3 or your Mini 3, and you're thinking, boy, I'd love to get into FPV, this is the way to go. So this kit's sold with the motion controller. There's also a standard remote controller. And again, this has got the latest generation of goggles in it as well, which is the V2 goggles. They're called Vision goggles. And I can't wait to get those on because they've improved every aspect of the goggles. So what you've got here is essentially a brand new ecosystem for FPV. And I know a lot of people were looking at it saying, oh, it's like a cine whoop. Well, it kind of is, but it really isn't. So I'll get into that in another clip as well. But anyway, what we've got here is a brand new product from DJI that's not based on an older product. It's not some new generation, some iteration of something they built. It's a brand new ground up build that's an FPV drone that has a ton of features in it that sort of bridges the gap between a camera drone and an FPV drone. So for me, I think this is the bridging technology for all those fans out there that are flying camera drones today, that are stable up in the air, that are looking to get an FPV. This may be the answer for you. But enough talking, let's get into the box. So again, I've taken the cellophane off it. Here we go. So there's a sleeve on the outside. Let me set that aside for now. And then there are 2 boxes inside. Here I have the goggles and the motion controller. Again, these are the Vision goggles, and here I've got the drone. I'm opening the drone first. I don't know about you, but this is the one I really want to see. And man, oh man, is this exciting. So let me cut this down here in the bottom. Oh, you got to peel that off. All right, there we go. All right, that's loose. I'm telling you, I must have opened 50 products this year that were brand new that I did reviews on, and nothing gets me more excited than breaking into a brand new drone, especially a drone from DJI, because these guys break the mold every time they release a new product, and man, this is no exception. So just let me enjoy my giddiness for a second here. Here we go. Oh, it's mysterious. It's inside a bag, inside the box. Look at that. All right, so there's the drone. What else is in here? All right, that looks like some kind of charging brick, some extra propellers, and of course a cable. So that's pretty cool. Oh, and a silica packet. Make sure you throw this out. This desiccant can be really scary around little kids. It's not something you want to eat. Probably doesn't taste great, but throw that out. Don't keep that. All right, so that's the drone. Oh man, let me get into this. All right, so let's set this guy aside. So here's the drone. Oh boy. So it's pretty light in the hand. It's about, I've got a pretty large hand, a medium-sized hand. It's about the size of my hand. So it's a little larger than most of the smaller FPVs. Let me open the bag. I'm sorry. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. Oh man. There is nothing on this drone that looks like anything DJI's built before. Now DJI's built a lot of motors and controllers and batteries and all kinds of cameras and gimbals. But boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, the engineering crew that put this together, I got to say that right out of the gate, they started from scratch. It was a completely white chalkboard that they started with and started marking up what they were going to build with this generation. And man, it's just gorgeous. This is really, really, really nice. All right, let me pull the gimbal guard off. All right, so there's the camera in the front. Now it's a single axis camera, so it's only got one axis of mechanical stabilization. It's got one axis where it's going to stabilize it, but it's got really advanced electronic image stabilization built into it that uses all the technology that developed over the years for their Osmo series of products, including Rocksteady, Horizon Steady, or none, where it just goes around and you get that sort of jittery view that everybody seems to like. All right, as far as the blades go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's a 5-blade system, and it's a bit ducted, but I would argue that with the whoops, they have a larger duct system on them, which really forces more air down. So it's really a duct system with more of a prop guard on it. It's got little feet on the bottom to keep it off the ground. It just looks like a beautiful drone. I can't wait to get this thing charged up and up in the air. Okay, so there's the drone. I'll come back to that in a second. What else do we got? All right, so there's the cable here. I'm sure that's going to be a standard charging cable, probably USB-C to USB-C. And am I right? Absolutely right. So USB-C to USB-C, so you can charge it. These are propellers. I'm not going to be careful with these. I got to rip this open. I don't want to bend the props. So there's spare props in the bag, in the box, in case you need to change out the props. And again, they come right out the bottom. Looks like a couple of small screws. There's 2 props there. And what else do we have in here? This is interesting. Now I don't see a charging hub. So what you've got is a single battery charger that looks like, well, it doesn't look like it is. The battery plugs in here, and you've got a USB-C connection over here. So it's an intelligent flight battery, just like all DJI batteries that are based on LiPo technology. There's a controller inside that's going to monitor the charging, discharging. We're looking for shorts and over voltage, under voltage. So it's going to protect your battery. And I wonder if this hub is intelligent. I'll bet it is. So I'm going to spend some time playing with this. But it looks like you lay your battery on top of it. You plug the battery in here. You plug it into a USB-C charger, and you're off and running. You can charge the battery. Now, the drone itself, from the specifications I got, will fly about 19 minutes on a full charge. Now, we all know that 19 minutes is perfect flight time in the zero gravity of outer space with no wind, so you're not going to get 19 minutes out of it unless you want to fly it until it just drops out of the sky. You'll probably get an average of 14 or 15 minutes based on my testing on older versions of drones, but 15 minutes is, I gotta say, it's like 3 times what an FPV normally flies, so you're going to get a lot of flight time on it. It's got a little weight to it, but again, DJI is really good at being efficient about how they drain electrons out of the battery, so I wouldn't think that you get much less than 15 minutes of flight time out of it, but there's the drone. And man, you got to get outside and start flying that one. All right, so there's the drone. Let's take a look at this other one. These are the goggles. And as much excitement as I have about the drone, I can't tell you how excited I'm about these goggles too, because they've made some major improvements to them. And I'm going to be on a flight in a couple of days, heading out to Colorado just for a couple of days of vacation. I think I may take these and wear them in the plane. Actually put an SD card in and watch a movie. Who knows? All right, let's get this open. Let's see what's going on here. People are going to look at me funny if I do that for sure, but I don't care. All right, well, I can't actually. They didn't release it yet, so I have to be careful. All right, so that's open. Let's get inside the goggles. Take a deep breath with me here. Goggles and a controller. Here we go. Now, the motion controller I've used before, but the goggles are brand new. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Here we go. All right, there's the goggles. Oh, they're tiny. They're so small. All right, there's the goggles. What else we got in here? Well, it's probably the motion controller and some accessories. Let's see if I can get this out without wrecking the box. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in there. All right, that's out. Is there anything else? Yeah, Rick, you missed one thing. There's a connection cable. And that's pretty much it. Okay, so that's an empty box. Let me put that aside really quick, get that out of the way. And let me dump all this stuff out. Bunch of stuff. More desiccant. Make sure you throw the desiccant out. I got dogs, they like eating stuff. They'll probably eat the desiccant. All right, so that's that. What else have we got? I missed the manual. There's probably a manual in here. I'll have to go back and look for that. They always give you a ton of manuals. And like I say every time, I know it's a boring exercise to read through manuals. Nobody likes to read manuals. But take some time and read through the manuals, because there's going to be a lot of really good information in the manuals that you may not get if you don't read through them, and you don't want to miss something, right? I mean, you're pretty intuitive, so you probably can figure out most of it on your own, but it's always a good idea to read through the manuals to figure out what you need to do with the drone so you get the best value out of the product. All right, so enough of that. Tons of manuals here. Talk about accessories. Oh, they talk about how you can adjust the IPD, the interpupillary distance, because everybody's got different heads. Sometimes you got eyes that are way out here. My eyes are a little bit in close or a little beady-eyed, so there's adjustments on the goggles to move those in and out. I did read something on here about adjusting it as well for prescription level, so I got to test that and see where that goes. There's that. There's a user's manual for the goggles and the controller, a bunch of information about warranty, how to get a hold of the application, how you can start it up. So again, read through the manuals before you fly the drone, because you're spending a good bit of money on the drone. You want to make sure you don't take it out and have it, into the ground. All right, so what else do we got? We got the goggles. Let me give that a minute. All right, the battery. Let's take a look. Man, there's a lot of bags in here. Let me get this guy out. All right, so the battery looks pretty similar to the battery for the original FPV goggles. I'll have to check it and see if it's the same or not, but I'll look at that. We've got a connector here for an HDMI, I believe, for an external HDMI. If you want to connect up the controller or maybe your phone to it, like we did on the last set of goggles. So I'll take a look at that. Let me get that out. Yep, that's a USB-C to USB-A. Okay, so that's a connection for an external, probably a phone or an external monitor. This is the cord you use between the batteries and the goggles. So this end is a USB-C. The other end has a barrel connection on it, which plugs into the goggles. The USB-C plugs directly into the battery just like that, and you're good to go. And you put this in your pocket, or you can get it on the strap. You can clip it up in the strap behind you. So that's the battery. What do we got in here? This looks interesting. This looks like very interesting. All right, I got a couple of lenses here, so I'm gonna have to look into the manual on these. And again, that's why the manual's important. So 2 different lenses that I can put in there. They may have to do with adjusting, like I'd mentioned, for prescriptions. This is the motion controller. Now let me tell you, I've flown with this quite a bit. I was blown away about how much fun it is to fly with the motion controller. Anytime somebody wants to fly my original FPV, I don't give them the controller because they're going to crash the thing in the ground. With this, it's a kind of a beginner's move, but it can be very sophisticated. So it's an incredibly cool way to fly your drone, because inside there's gyroscopic controls that know how you're moving your hand, and it has the drone react to that and fly in the direction that you're moving the controller. So pretty cool there. And now the goggles. Let's get a look at those. Boy, there's a lot of cool stuff here. All right, goggles. Where's the opening on the goggles? Over here. All right, let me just rip this because it'll be easier, because I really want to get inside and see these guys. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, these are so small. I should have kept the other goggles around just to show you the difference in size, but these are tiny compared to the other ones. And I know I'm gushing over these, and there are smaller goggles on the market, but when you think about the sophistication built into these goggles at this size, is absolutely incredible. All right, so there's dual antennas, no more 4 antennas like on the last set of goggles. By the way, the last set of goggles work with this drone, the last motion controller, the last remote controller, all work with this drone. So you've got sort of an ecosystem that DJI is developing here, where if you bought the last generation, you can buy the new goggles and use it, or you can use the goggles you've got. They give you a cover this time for inside the goggles. That was something that was missing on the original goggles. So there's a cover inside. Here's your IPD adjustments on the bottom. Here's the barrel connection for the cable for the battery. Looks like a micro SD card slot there. And again, I'll do a closer look in a second video. The USB-C over here for charging, I imagine. Or no, that's for the external, sorry. That's for connecting externally. But boy, oh boy, those are tiny. And I just can't wait to try these out, because like I mentioned, 1080p, when you're streaming 1080p at 100 frames a second with less than 30 milliseconds of response time, which is super important when you're flying a drone this fast close to the ground. You want to make sure that what's happening at the drone is being shown on your goggles as quickly as possible. So less than 30 milliseconds of response time is really because of the advanced transmission topology that DJI has pioneered in all of their drones. This will fly 11.6 kilometers away. Now again, I say this every time, I'm not the drone police, but in the United States, you got to keep an eye on your drone. You can't fly further than you can see it. You can't use a spotter because he has to be close, or she has to be close to you. But anyway, it'll fly 11.6 kilometers away. But again, keep it in visual line of sight. But that just means to me that I've got a rock solid connection between the controller and the drone, so I can fly it with full confidence that I'm going to have control of the drone and it's not going to just decide on its own to misbehave and fly off over the horizon. So that's that. So here you go. This is the whole ecosystem that comes with this ProView bundle. It's got everything you need right out of the box to charge up the controller, the goggles, the battery, and get out there and fly. Now, I can tell you that as much time as I took with this unboxing, I can't wait to get outside and fly it. So as soon as I finish this clip, I'll be charging up the battery, heading outside, and really getting some flight time in with it because I love flying FPV. I know I do a lot of camera drone reviews because a lot of people like the camera drones. This is a ready-to-fly FPV system, and I know there's two schools of thoughts out there. A lot of people like to build them like a race car. Other people like to buy a race car off the production line, and that's exactly what you're getting here. It's ready to fly. You just charge it and start flying. So that's pretty much all I had for this. Now, I'm going to give you the specifications today to let you know exactly what the drone provides and all the nerdy details that people like to hear about. I'll have that next. And then I promise you there are going to be other clips coming tomorrow, the next day, for the next couple of weeks, going through closer looks on the drone, closer look on the goggles, comparisons to the controllers, comparison of the drone to the original FPV in case you're still on the market. Maybe that one makes more sense. Maybe this one makes more sense. But I've got a lot of stuff coming. But for today, I'm going to get outside and fly this thing. And that's all I really had. So I hope you enjoyed this unboxing video because boy, oh boy, am I excited to get my hands on the controller, put the goggles on, get that drone up in the air and fly it around the field a little bit to see what this baby can do. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Stay tuned next for the specifications. And I may come back at the end with a couple of final thoughts because those specs will take a couple of days to put together and I'll be out flying it. So I'll be back maybe with a couple of thoughts at the end. But anyway, that's it for the unboxing. Stay tuned next for the specifications. The brand new DJI Avata FPV is a palm-sized and agile drone with integrated propeller guards that weighs 410 grams. It features an upgraded 1/1.7-inch CMOS sensor that can deliver incredible 4K footage at 60 frames per second, as well as crisp 48 megapixel images. The camera sports a 2.34mm lens with an f2.8 aperture. A large 155-degree field of view helps you capture nice wide landscape shots without distortion. The Avata also helps to keep your shots crisp through a combination of its integrated mechanical gimbal and proprietary electronic image stabilization. You can further adjust the stabilization by turning it off for exciting footage or selecting rock steady or horizon steady mode for even smoother footage. The software also provides a choice of 3 distortion correction options that include normal, wide mode, and ultra-wide mode to meet your flying needs. Other innovations include a turtle mode that will flip the drone over automatically in the event of a crash. The drone includes the very latest DJI transmission technology that ensures a rock-solid connection up to 10 kilometers away, but should only be flown as far as you can maintain a visual line of sight. This connection provides an HD 1080p 100 frames per second video feed back to the upgraded goggles with less than a 30 millisecond latency. The standard 2420 mAh battery provides up to 18 minutes of flight time on a single charge. The new Avata also has improved flight characteristics over many other FPVs available today and can sense rough terrain when landing and visually display its home point when flying. With one-button takeoff and landing, rock-solid GPS, Galileo, and Baidu positioning, and automated return to home, the DJI Avata always knows where it is in the air and can find its way back to its takeoff point to land safely if needed. You have 2 different options to choose from for controlling the new Avata FPV. You can use the innovative motion controller for easy flying with its intuitive gyroscopic control. This allows you to fly the drone by simply rotating your hand, and the drone will mimic those movements in the air. Its light 167-gram weight is easy to manage and allows for single-handed control of the drone. This is a great way for flyers new to FPV drones to ease into this exciting experience. For more detailed control, you can also use the DJI FPV Remote Controller 2 with dual joysticks. This option provides a more familiar flying experience for pilots that are used to a camera drone. Alongside the brand new Avata FPV, DJI has also released their updated DJI Goggles 2. These are a lighter, upgraded version of the original DJI FPV goggles and feature a new 2-antenna system for transmission. Their smaller size and 169-gram weight make them very comfortable when flying, and their 1080p video display provides an incredibly crisp and immersive experience. The new goggles use an 1800 milliampere hour battery that provides over 2 hours of flight time on a single charge. I hope those specifications were helpful. Now here are a few of my initial observations after my first flight with the brand new DJI Avata. But first, in my unbridled excitement during the unboxing, I totally missed the manual package inside the Avata box, so I want to show you where it is so you don't miss it as well. So when you open up the box, right here in the lid of the box is a smaller box, and inside that box is a pile of manuals. Now, I'm sure there's somebody at DJI that was responsible for designing this, and they're probably thinking, that's a perfect place for the manuals. Nobody's going to miss that. Well, I missed it, so I apologize. But anyway, now you know where they are. Read through those manuals because there's a lot of good information in there about how you activate the drone, how you link things together, how you can download the application, how you charge stuff, all the things you're going to need to know in order to use the product correctly. And I know you're incredibly intuitive because you're a nerd and you can figure it out on your own. But why would you waste that time? Just read through the manuals and get out the door and start flying. All right, enough about that. So before I could fly the drone, I had to charge a bunch of stuff. I had to charge the battery for the drone, the battery for the goggles, and the controller. Now, the battery for the goggles and the controller are pretty similar to the first generation FPV, so I knew how those charged. What I really wanted to spend some time on was figuring out how I could charge the battery for the drone because it's brand new and it's a brand new adapter. So I initially plugged it into a 33-watt charger, and it started charging. But the lights were strobing really slowly, which indicated it was a slow charge. And I thought, okay, maybe it's not enough power. So I connected it up to a 65-watt PD charger, and all of a sudden the speed of those lights, the strobing, sped up. So it does show me that you can fast charge the batteries. I did notice that the charging adapter got a little bit warm while it was charging, and I had it in a down position like this. And I wasn't sure if that's the correct position to charge the battery. Maybe it's not evacuating enough heat because it's laying flat on a surface. So the next time I charge it, I'm going to put it up like this, and I'll do some temperature measurements and probably put a clip together. But anyway, the bottom line is 65-watt PD charger, you can fast charge the batteries. So then I moved on to the goggles, had the battery fully charged. I did some adjustments on the IPD distance so I can actually move these back and forth because again, I've got wide set eyes, so I've got to pull them all the way out. The other interesting thing is you can adjust the prescription. So if you've got glasses, you can't fit glasses inside the goggles. It's just too small. They're incredibly small. They fit beautifully on your face. But if you need to adjust for corrective lenses, you can spin these two wheels down the bottom. And then I mentioned there were 2 discs inside the package that I didn't quite know what they were for. What these discs allow you to do is if you can't make the adjustment for your corrective lenses with the wheels that are on the goggle standard, you can use these and have lenses developed that match your exact prescription on your glasses, and you can pop these inside the goggles. So essentially, you don't need to wear glasses. Like I wear glasses when I'm driving. I don't want to wear glasses when I'm using a goggle set like this. So if I can adjust these for the glasses I wear, it's like my glasses are embedded inside the goggles. I think that's a great thing. So protect those, and there's information on how you can send those out and get the prescription set up. The one thing I will say about the goggles is I don't know how to convey this any more than just to say the imaging is brilliant inside there. It's absolutely a virtual reality environment. When you slide those goggles on your face and you're looking through that camera, I swear it's like you're Superman strapped to the bottom of the FPV and you're controlling it, and the response from that is incredibly fast. But the crispness of the image and the immediacy of that image and the color saturation is just another generation better than anything I've seen in VR goggles to this point. Now, I know there's a lot of goggles out there that maybe I haven't tested, and you've got your own favorite set of goggles, but I have to say hats off to DJI for somehow shrinking down their FPV goggles to this size and dramatically improving the clarity and the color saturation of the imaging inside. It's just absolutely fantastic. All right, let me talk about the drone next. I was expecting big things from this drone, but in the 14 minutes, which is about what I got, 13 and change, I'm telling you, I was smiling the entire time with this thing flying around my backyard, dodging a few trees in and out of this and that. I had it out in the field, flying across the tops of some of the weed out in the field. The experience is just fantastic on this thing. And as a guy who probably spends 70% of my time flying camera drones and 30% flying FPV, this experience to me is the closest I've come to flying, just me flying, just, me out there in the field zooming around like I've got wings and a rocket pack on my back. It's just a phenomenal drone. It's a little noisier than I expected, which is okay. I guess it's an FPV. It's got move a lot of air because it's got smaller props, but I just can't wait to get this thing out in more environments and fly it again. But my first impression of this thing was just, wow. That's the only way I can put it. And I know DJI is marketing this as born to fly, but it's a brand new build from the ground up. There's nothing on this drone that's existed on other drones that DJI's built. So for an engineering team to sit down with a blank sheet of paper, design this from scratch, and get it this right on their first generation is just mind-boggling to me. And hats off to DJI. So this is a great setup. and I'm going to do a lot more clips. And I'm going to show you examples about it. I'm going to talk a lot more about the technology behind it. But my first impressions, it's a home run. It's an absolute home run. So, and I know people like to accuse me of being a DJI fanboy, but it's because of stuff like this. These are moon launch projects. These aren't things that have been in development for 25 years in this 16th generation. First generation for a smaller goggle set, first generation for a smaller FPV, and phenomenal. And batteries too, next generation. So overall, just a phenomenal setup. And I think DJI in general hit it out of the park. So if you're a camera drone flyer and you're thinking, boy, I'd really like to try that FPV stuff, you've got a ready to fly FPV drone right here. Beautiful set of goggles. You can power it up, go out and fly it, and have a whole lot of fun with it. Now, as I mentioned, I've got a ton more clips coming. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Hit that subscribe button down there and join the Drone Valley family, because I'm going to be talking a lot about this, and I've got a lot of other secret projects coming as well that you're going to want to hear about. So why don't you join the Drone Valley family, and that way you won't miss anything. If you have questions about anything I've talked about today, drop those in the comments below. I'll do my best to get back to you as quickly as I can. I promise you, I'm doing a top 10, probably 2 top 10 clips of questions people have asked. So I'm going to gather them all up and put a clip together and try and answer as many as I can. But if it's an easy question, I'll answer it right there in the comments. And then finally, if this appeals to you, if you're interested in this drone, I've got a link below that'll take you to the DJI website, and you'll support the channel a little bit if you hit that link. So if you like what we're doing here and you want to support us, use that link. It'll cost you the same amount of money as if you bought it directly, but we get a little bit of a commission from DJI for that link. So if you want to help us out, that's a great way to do it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I love new products like this. I am going to be outside flying this thing nonstop from sunrise to sunset for the next couple of weeks, and I'll put a lot of clips together so you guys can enjoy it as well. So thanks again for watching. And until next time, as always, happy flying.